to the Overwatch Pretenders preseason broadcast. I am Archie Sleek, joined here by the incredible HX9 to break down the cast of our first match between the ToxicShock and the Skyhounds. We're going to start things off here on Kings Row, one of my personal favorite hybrid maps. HX, any predictions going into this one?
It's a little too early to tell. We're going to have to see what these teams decide to pick for their comps, and maybe we'll see some more interesting plays here. I'm thinking, you know, Ryan Zarya might be on both sides this time.
I do expect that to come through. We do see in front of us right now is the Skyhounds.
Attackers incoming
doing the
30 seconds.
customary pre-game spray spamming here. Their composition, a little interesting, worth mentioning for those just joining us. Forget is not currently permitted in the Overwatch Pretenders League, so that is not going to be available to us. Instead, it's going to be this very kind of a death volley-like composition.
5, 4,
We'll see how
3,
they should be able to hold this ground very
1.
well. We'll see if they're
Attackers
able to
incoming.
execute as across the
Defend
way.
objective A.
ToxicShock rolling in.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to go ahead and roll out with the D.Va here, and that's very interesting. Even before Brigida, we used to see Zarya play, but he's go ahead and dive right in there. D.Va's kind of in the middle of the team, gets smashed by the Reinhardt. He's going to go ahead and swing at him, and D.Va's already out of mana.
Follow-up not there from the team. Right, making a lot of trouble here. David is good here, and now just kind of motion man against the world. And it got a little scary there for any Skyhounds fans, but they do end up bringing it together, and hey, okay for them.
Yeah, David was able to get his ult very quickly there by getting that smash from the D.Va. So that left them getting that smash really quickly. But they're on ahead and charge right in here. Looks like, Reinhardt's still going to break really quickly. Down he goes.
And trying to find some pickups for his team, and now even things up that new Hondo Storm that is available. And our defenders here. So far, just fine. What I think kind of needs to be the factor that needs to be.
ToxicShock's going to have to try to get into that backline. They're going to use that D.Va, and that looks like what they're trying to do, but D.Va does manage to get out of mech really quickly there. Raising the pop, transcend, pop back on point, and another charge by David. He's really landing those charges very well.
Running through the middle of the fight. But another beautiful shot. Take that DPS player out of the fight here. But now he's behind the enemy team and will fall as a result. Man advances the way of the Skyhounds. And more importantly, Remnants here has absolutely massive amounts of Zarya charge here. It's very hard to light into for
Right, you know, the Hanzo ult there didn't really hit anybody, but it did, like you said, split the team up. So it was actually pretty solid play. When you don't have a Zarya, sometimes that's just the best you're going to do.
For the most part, actually, beautiful work from not letting there be and as I said, they will actually succeed. Here's David.
60 seconds.
Experience tranquility.
My ultimate is charging.
The difference between 2 ticks and no ticks there was on the wheel was just Height actually getting the Hanzo shot with his quick shot onto the wheel. I think he was blind shooting around the corner there and managed to pick it off. I think Toxic might have pushed in a little too far that push. With only one person on the point, they weren't able to cap it before Skyhounds were able to regroup. That's why they were able to defend it in that game.
Sleek.
does go a long way for them there. You're hoping that plans out for them. They've got one more 10 seconds available.
10 seconds.
Force their way on there now. Early kill on the robot walrus is very good for them here. Red team pushing on for the counter from David, but he's fighting in that coalescence. That's nigh impossible to do. And in the overtime, ToxicShock wins here.
Toxic was actually able to push a lot faster into the back line there. That's why they were able to get those early picks, which secured them the man advantage and thus points in this case. Really, David, wow, those charges still, I mean, he almost recovered it there, but like you said, coalescence, this kind
Yo,
of
Sleek. You should turn down your game sound and turn up HX.
Alright, well. Next fight, going to
Blocked by the dragon.
quickly. He's moving forward. I'm trying to make a bit of a flank play happen here.
Sniper!
Pretty good for the Skyhounds, I believe. Getting that tire out of the way. Pretty big deal, but now the huge earth shatter on the right. It's a pretty big win for them. Should allow David to move forward. Those picks are going to come in big. We have received reports of a bit of discrepancy in in-game volume. I hope you'll pardon me for a second. I have to fix this right in front here, and I'm really going to be able to hear anything. I wish there was a better way I could handle this without pulling up the screen in front of you guys, but it's kind of what I had to do here. Okay, we're back. Sorry about that, fans. We're back at it. HX, fill us in. What's going on?
Alright, looks like Zarya's going to go ahead and push in here, try to get some charge while they're pushing in. It's just pretty much a brawl here. David swinging his hammer. Not much going on the sides here. It's just really straight up brawl, waiting for things to happen. What about Waller? Oh, D.Va coming in the back, though, throwing the ult. Going to be very hard to escape there. Mercy unable to get away from that one. And that might secure for Toxic. They're going to push in here with Coalescence, countered by Raiden. Ult a little bit late. It's not going to really do much for them there.
No, not all, but here's the Riptide at the last second. Finds Ite, but that's going to be it. The shield from Pedunji will keep him alive and will keep this push alive with Remnant down there. There is not much more the Skyhounds can do. You might see a bit of a trickle in to stall out the point, but only so much one Reinhardt can do, even less he can do when he's taking on a wild ride like that. Good zoning from Pedunji should stop any stalling efforts here for the time being.
Yeah, it looks like Dungy's ready to get a little bit of revenge here on David after all those slams that were on him. It's like two in a row that he's gotten there. So hopefully turns out there. David does have his ult though, and Dungy does his ult, so we have the Earth Shatter mind game going on right now.
Trying to bring this one back is Pedunji. Right on the line, prepping for those shatters. David's comes on down here, but their Earth Shatters kind of just traded back and forth, kind of mixed results for the teams here. First blood will go the way of Ite onto Raiden. David's down as well. Now a bit of a Junkrat duel here on the high ground. You gotta win your ones, and this fight's just gonna end with no more fighting. Robot Wallace, the last one to fall down for his team. And it's an uninterrupted push forward for your friends from the ToxicShock. Just a little bit further, and they will secure it.
Yeah, David's ult was great, but unfortunately, it was just a little bit missed on the on Pedunji. So Pedunji was not shattered, and his shatter actually hit a few more people. So that's really the mistake there on that push. We're hoping to see when you get that Reinhardt battle, when you have those shatters back and forth. You know, both Ryan's having the shatters, playing the shield games. Pre-Brigida meta, but when you're waiting for the slam, you gotta make sure you hit the Reinhardt. If you miss the Reinhardt, you're done. He's gonna follow right back up on you.
Absolutely have to agree. Really important play there right at the end. Well, in the end, it was just a really good offensive push coming through from the ToxicShock. Not at all really beyond the ability of the Skyhounds to kind of run this one back and go for a tiebreaker. If they do, there's only kind of like 45 seconds in the ToxicShock's bank. It's not the hardest time in the world to beat, assuming they can, you know, clear the map.
Right. It's going to be interesting to see what comp they pick. Looks like they're kind of hinting at maybe going double sniper here. But, you know, David's sitting on that Torp. I don't think they're going to be playing that Torp.
Probably not. As interesting as that would be to see him practice, probably not going to be what we see. I am interested in the double snipers, though. If there is a map to do it, it's probably Ilios Ruins, but King's Row A, not a bad second choice. Both Hanzo and Widowmaker so strong here. And if Kingbrick and Akari got the moves, you got the moves. So, it's a real confidence play to see this come out, and really that's what you want to see with these teams early on in the season. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, me too. I'm a little concerned about Toxic's defense here. Running this high ground defense up here with a Soldier, it's going to be very interesting to see if that Soldier can put out enough damage to take out the shield before the triple tank is right on top of them. Triple tank's pretty strong against Soldier.
It really is, but maybe the spam damage from the Junkrat and the damage boost on Rise can kind of supplement that. Just seen high ground pathing we see here. Looks like the Skyhounds really want to take this fight directly to them. Here's the charge forward. The team's flashing right here on this high ground spot. Try to get a good visual angle on it. David's the first to fall. Moshi Man is DMEC in response. Robot Walrus falling down is huge for the shock there. King Rick, just kind of the casualty of war. Now Remnant and Raiden gonna have some trouble just getting back safely. Or are they gonna try something sneaky here?
I don't know. I mean, Hounds kind of took a weird angle for having a Widowmaker. She really couldn't get a shot on anything up in that side, so hopefully they try to keep it more on the point so they can take advantage of this Widow player in Akari.
I think that will be much to their benefit, and now the much more straightforward push here. It's David leading the charge under some pressure, but the kill in the Junkrat's huge. Here comes the Coalescence. That's going to burn down that Reinhardt shield and his health rather quickly. No frags just yet in favor of the Skyhounds, but they're moving on to the payload. They have the high charge Zarya. That Earth Shatter is going to have huge consequences.
Oh man, yeah, Dungy pretty much got him there. You know, when Ryan's not available to block it, what are you gonna do? Just gotta play the corners there.
Yeah, all you can really do is run. Skyhounds make the absolute right play and get the heck out of dodge very, very quickly. But
Junkrat here.
Regroup. They have this Junkrat to worry about. He has the Riptire to try and break apart a push if he wants. Really, that's one of the big things for me right now. ToxicShock has a huge ult economy advantage. Let's ride along with this Riptire coming up over the top, avoids the Zarya, ends up detonating on a whole lot of nothing there. It's been unfortunate for him. Skyhounds try to take the high ground, but Robot Walrus dies very early.
A little too far up there. But, oh well, with the counterplay there, Remnant does get the hook on Ite and gets him down, so Junkrat's down for the team. It's a pretty even fight. Raiden going in with the sound barrier. David charging in on Reinhardt. Going to go ahead and swing. Kind of bullies him off the point. Going to have to see if they can get that Mercy there. She's kind of flying up into the air. Coalescence comes out from Moira, pushing down on Tunji. He's got to back him off the point. David taking the swings, and looks like they're kind of pushing him off the point. They're not really paying attention to Ite, though, and Moishi in the back here. So they're kind of getting some kills. Remnant going down and Raiden both going down. Looks like Toxic's going to hold this time. Whoa! Except David getting a great Earth Shatter there. It's still neck and neck.
The respawn coming through from Kindred could be the changing factor here. The Graviton definitely helped. Need to get that shield up, but David goes down before he can shield. Kingrick dodges it with the fade. The split-second timing. What a monster! That fight was very dangerous for the Skyhounds. They had the good positioning initially, but when Ite and Moshi Man got behind them, they're kind of sandwiched the team in two. It looked like it was about to go south very, very quickly, but the Skyhounds keep together. That's just pretty impressive in my book. Wonderful play from David. Keeps it all.
That's when you need the 7-1 headset on. Make sure you can hear those folks behind you because they're the most critical. You got to protect that back line. And with this particular comp, against the comp they're at, you know, it's actually quite an easy thing to do.
This is it's really noisy to be on the ground with these players. Oh, here comes another Riptire from the ToxicShock. We'll see if it has a little better faded. Trying to take this far out of the sky cannot be done. Shoutouts to the Widowmaker player, keeping the skies nice and friendly for the Pharah. Looking solid for the Skyhounds so far. Could be a huge play from Robot Walrus here, fighting into the Valkyrie from Dakotak. Gonna make life a bit difficult with this massive healing here. Kill onto King Rick and David is huge for the Toxics.
Let's get you back out.
Yeah, Dungy is able to get yet another charge. Looks like he's kind of turning around the dichotomy here between him and David. It's really been a solid Reinhardt battle. I think they've had a great back and forth here. But yeah, they're pushing him out here at this point, and you know it's going to be another bad push here. I'd like to see Ait. I'd like to see him do a little bit more with his tires here. Maybe try to get him in the chaos of the battle. I think that's where he's kind of getting picked off here. I think that's 3 tires now that have all been shot down. One was in the chaos though, so that's what I'd like to see the change there.
I mean, Ike's been playing a very good Junkrat. He's definitely charging the tires quickly. I personally like the very early Junkrat tires, at least from my experience. They can really just kind of end a fight before it starts. That's really the idea behind that. Doesn't always pan out, but we'll see it. This fight starting to go the way of the Shock here. The Transcendence sustaining them so well here. They're just unkillable inside that aura of peace and harmony. Another Rip Tire hanging around somewhere. Let's see if Ike's got this one in the bag. Somebody, there you go. That's how you kill it.
Yeah, that was much better in taking advantage of the chaos, so good improvement on that one. You know, that push started out pretty strong. Dungy actually got picked off after pinning David, so there's an opportunity there that they could have taken advantage of, but the Mercy just able to get the res through that Transcendence. So here they come for another push.
And now it's gonna be, I'd say the advantage is the Skyhounds because of this Earth Shatter, and here comes David looking to go right on Ham in their faces. He's get that barrier up, does stop the self-destruct, and nothing really left for the Shock to do after that beautiful display of Reinhardtmanship.
Yeah, like I was saying earlier, this David guy on Reinhardt, yeah, he's pretty much holding this team together at this point. He's made a lot of great plays. So far, my favorite for MVP here. Not a big fan of that self-destruct, though. When you got your team down, it might be better to save that so you can get a remake later on a stall or something else.
At the same time, the idea made a bit of sense to me. Okay, the enemy Reinhardt is going left crazy right here in this narrow space. Maybe if I throw it out, he won't get the barrier up in time. He does, because David is proven to be a very talented Reinhardt. But I like to give credit where credit is due. Oh, hello, Robot Wallace looking for the... Oh, that feels bad. That just feels bad, man.
Yeah, Mercy saw Ike caught in a trap up there and Raiden was able to take him down, so... but unfortunately, Junkrat goes down on the other side, too.
Poor Walrus sniped by the remake. Oh man, that is just not a fun feeling. Now ToxicShock trying to stabilize this fight here. David got a good shatter to start things off, and now Moshiman gets caught in a tight spot for positioning there. D-Mech very quickly. This one's looking like it's going to go pretty handedly the way of the Skyhounds. Robot Wallace still has that rocket barrage, does interrupt the res, tries to burn through the Transcendence, not able to do so. And now it's on Rice to turn things around. But Nail meets Hammer as David closes out a very impressive attack here on King's Row. We're going to a tiebreaker, HX.
All right. This is a really close match, too, and I think it all comes down to these two Reinhardts. They're really holding these front lines down, and their interplay is just great. The charges are landing one way, David's getting some of them, Dungy's getting the other ones. The Earth Shatters, though, have been, I think, game-defining in this match so far. So it's a short match. Can they charge these Earth Shatters fast enough to make the difference here, or are they going to have to rely on the DPS to get this push done?
I mean, the Earth Shatters have just been the fight-winning factor in a lot of these. Just huge shout-out to both these Rhine players. I love watching some high-level Rhine play, always a treat, but shout-outs where some shout-outs are due. The support players, keeping them topped off, enabling them to go ham as they had, really important. King Rick and Raiden have been working wonderfully to allow David to do what he does. Dakotak, I'm not saying this guy's name enough for how much work he's doing, because it's just a little hard to say. Sorry, man. You're not making it easy on me.
Yeah, that's a tricky one. Dakotak? I gotta go ask him after the game.
Maybe we should just call him 55? I don't know. There's a lot of angles you can take with it. But now the Skyhounds gonna work several angles of attack here on their objective A attack. Only 50 or so seconds to work with. They'll have to work quickly.
like they're opening up with that high ground positioning, but not everyone's going along this time. They definitely don't have that Widowmaker in this case, so they do have the Pharah. So Robot Walrus up there, just laying down fire, trying to get some positioning on here. Also, it's double shields, which is interesting on the Toxic side here with Orisa and Ryan. So that actually might work in their favor with this Pharah, blocking a lot of the shots. Can't really get a good angle here. Whoa, Kadunji! What is positioning here?
Goes very far forward, but doesn't get punished. So hey, if it works, only 20 seconds available for the Skyhounds. Robot Walrus needs to make the hero play and do it quickly. He has his team behind him, trying to shoot over those barriers. Punji in a tough spot now, but that barrier keeping him alive. 6 seconds left. It's coming down through the wire, and ToxicShock stabilizing very well. Skyhounds, this is their last chance to do anything, and David is back here right with them. This is all coming down to the wire. Rice is the first casualty, trying to find this Mercy. Here comes the rocket barrage from Robot Walrus. Finds one. Once get two here, but the Transcendence is too good. Robot Walrus doesn't have the answer back. Respawns come through. The kill on the David and Akari is huge for the Shock, but they need to kill Walrus. He's stalling here for so long. It's incredible. It's the support, and in overtime, the Mad Men did it!
Yeah, that really was an interesting opening there. Dungy actually caught a little bit out of positioning the second time after the first time we pointed it out there. When he went down, they were able to push in and hold the point really quickly. And yeah, the Transcendence just a little too late, which is why Daco, he just went down through it, and it's really unfortunate. I think Lamper there just barely got his Transcendence just a little too late. I don't think it was a reaction time thing. I think it was just he didn't build his ult quite quick enough to stop that. So looks like we're in overtime. Let's see how far they can push it.
Yeah, huge shout outs to Robot Walrus in this fight. Maybe we hovered the camera on him a little too long in that fight, but I felt like he was a huge driving factor in that one. He did so much. And absolutely incredible what he's able to accomplish. Really, that jetpack doubling as a backpack for him in this one. Oh, hold that thought. David looking to make some plays on the front line. He's got the Valkyrie healing behind him. The Robot Walrus is down.
It took himself. Oh, Remnant with the 4-player self-destruct. An amazing throw there. Actually in the same position that Moshi threw his previously to get Mercy on their push. So amazing play there. Robot Walrus there took himself out on the Diva when he was trying to rocket barrage there. So very interesting trade. Ended up working out really well.
Hey, if it works, it works. Aspiring Diva players, take note. This is apparently a pretty hot spot to drop your Diva bombs. Teams that have done it have been very successful. Skyhounds very successful in this offensive push, just not getting slowed down at all here by the ToxicShock defense.
Yeah, Moshi's got the 12-second res here, so it's a 6v5 at the moment. Looks like they're going to be pushing in. David's looking for an opportunity here to start swinging. Dungy not quite on his ult yet. He's going to need that if they want to get them off the point here. So he's got to survive a little bit longer, but he doesn't. Robot Walrus taking him out with Doomfist. Playing Doomfist just to get back into the fight a little bit faster. Sound barrier goes down. Looks like they're going to start swinging. Transcendence goes out from Lamperouge. Are they going to get back in time?
Ice survives because of a wonderful healing coming through from his team here. He's trying to make it happen with the tactical visor. Has a barrier in his face, but reinforcement.
Get off the edge!
It's a huge boot onto that Mercy. This is probably going to be the end of the run for the Skyhounds. They're stalling best they can, but the Riptire comes in big. Can Akari finish this one up? There's a bunch of tanks in his face. So runs out of overtime. It was a heck of a run, though, from the Skyhounds. No denying that much.
Absolutely, and they had the advantage there going in with Moshi down to get that 6v5 play, and also they had the ult economy there to pull it off with the sound barrier. And they even got the pick on Dungy, but I don't think they found the Mercy fast enough. So as a result, she was able to keep people up there, and so Daco there with a great play there, and of course Lamper too with his Transcendence, which helped them stabilize. And when you're on defense at the last point in overtime, 12-second res for the attackers, they're not going to be getting back anytime soon.
No, that much is for certain. They definitely went a long way with their initial 50 seconds. So yeah, huge points. The Skyhounds. That was an incredible push, and pressure is really on here for the ToxicShock to just match that. What are you saying in your team comms right now if you have to do that?
Well, you're probably trying to figure out a comp that can push that long too. If you're not running Ryan Zarya, you have a little bit of hard time sustaining the cart in King's Row. So probably think about some strategies as to who's going to be standing on the cart and how you might deal with a Pharah if one comes out again. Looks like that is actually the case here for the Skydogs.
Robot Walrus has proved an incredible Pharah player. Now it's the early flank position. It's dangerous. Can he survive? No! Chop down right out of the air. If he lives, I love the positioning, but he doesn't, so it's kind of hurting his team here on the defense. Gonna go into overtime very quickly here. Only 50 seconds left for the ToxicShock. We gain some good ground here. Rice in a bit of trouble, fighting too. Surviving with very little HP. Finally goes down to a Diva Dink, but the rest of his team is starting to control this payload here. Akari tries to make the high flying play. Will end up falling down. Pudgy trying to throw back the Skyhounds here if he can, but liable to die that far up. Will fall to right in, and Ike bites the dust.
Good patience here by the Skydogs. They moved back off point, let Toxic get the tick. And then after they were able to regroup after some dodgy positioning there from Robot Walrus, they were able to wait for him to get back and then take the point back. So ultimately that's what came down. But also Toxic, very good positioning, zoning him out to get that tick. Last chance here.
Yep, 6 seconds, they gotta get on the point, and they need to do it now. They need to take out Robot Walrus very, very quickly. Would have been nice Fire Rocket to connect, but now brought to the ground by David. David himself will fall to the Coalescence damage. Robot Walrus not allowed to ult here. Kite is having an insane Widowmaker game right now. Will it be enough? The Rip Tire onto Pidunji, making life very difficult. Res onto Robot Walrus is beautiful. Is it going to be the difference here? Ite, the man of the hour for ToxicShock right now. Coming in huge here. I'm in love with this man's performance.
He's keeping it alive here, but Robot Walrus does manage to take him out at the end there. Looks like Toxic going to get back a little bit quicker. We need to get this Robot Walrus guy down out of the sky, or else they're just not going to finish this up. Looks like they are going to manage to pull it off here, though, and get on the payload. That means one disadvantage res here. David's going to have a long way to run. So both teams going to have a chance to regroup and then just position themselves for another push.
We could be in for the run back here from the Shock. It wasn't a super clean attack on A, but they got it done, and they have both the Earth Shatter and the Sound Barrier for the next fight. It's looking pretty good for them right now.
Yeah, I'd say so. I think, again, their tricky part here is just going to be who stays on the cart. Got to be careful with that with this comp, because a lot of their tanks and DPS here want to get off the cart.
Widowmaker, not exactly the one you expect to stand on the cart a whole terrible lot here. And now David making some mayhem on the point, trying to throw them off here. Does find Rice, having trouble pinning down that coalescing Moira. Your shatter is huge. This could be it. Pidunji with the last second save could just have brought more life. Hi, Akari.
Yeah, hey, that's one great way to end the game there. So congrats to Skyhounds on this first map victory.
That will be their first one. What a way to start out a series. Should mention this is going to be the traditional best of 4 format that we're used to seeing. For our next map, it is going to be loser's choice, so we'll see what is going to be selected by the ToxicShock to be their next map of choice. Any predictions, DX? HX?
HX? DX is my father, sir.
Oh,
HX.
my
All right. That's Dad X9. But prediction-wise, I'm still... I like ToxicShock's differences in their comps throughout that. The Widowmaker there, especially at that point, really held down Robot Walrus on Pharah. So I would have liked to seen Robot Walrus kind of bring in a different guy there. But then Robot Walrus came right back in and just really proved that the Pharah can dominate on the second point. So maybe the Skyhounds hero pool is a little deep. Maybe it's deep enough here in this case that they might be able to pull this off as ToxicShock. I want to see that Zarya. That's really what I want to see in certain maps. And King's Row is no different. So, yeah, I want to see Zarya's more.
Yeah, Zarya, always fun to watch, fun to play as well. I love the barrier mechanic, and just when you get a high charge Zarya, it is a heck of a feeling here. It does look like the choice from the ToxicShock is going to be Ilios. I do like this one. It is a very, very strong sniper map, at least on Ruins, at least. So that's going to really favor the strong Widowmaker play that the ToxicShock can bring out. And just the strong Lucio play we've seen from them as well. So I like this selection.
Yeah, for sure. I like the healer selection for sure. I like the DPS selection. But I'm a tank flex player. I gotta see the Zarya. That's why I get on it so much. I love seeing Zarya. But on Ilios though, not so much Zarya to play there, I would think, right? Especially without the Brigitte in the meta at this point. So
yeah.
Maybe we'll see some dive.
We could see a little bit of that. Teams are going to be having a brief moment to allow to make any swaps if they want to. Doesn't look like the Shock is going to attempt that, though. What's really kind of fun about Ilios is just how different all the points are. Well is one of the most iconic Overwatch maps with just a giant gaping hole right in the middle. Allows for a completely different play style than the rest of the maps. Ruins is defined by sniper play. The Well is also really favorable for Lucios and Winstons. Every point of Ilios is a whole different game. That's why it's one of my favorite maps here, and we will be starting out on Ruins.
I love Ruins, like you said, for the sniper play. It's one of my favorites because dives, they kind of have trouble getting into the back line on Ruins. They have trouble getting into that one leap position for Winston or one boost position for Diva. And so it leaves Widow with this opportunity to really shine on a King of the Hill map, where in most other cases, Widow doesn't really have the opportunity to stay alive. So I'm glad to see Ruins. I'm always glad to see Ruins when we have Widow players, and it looks like Ait might actually be in that position this time, too.
Well, alright, that is a good look for the ToxicShock, but a little concerning if you're over here in the Skyhounds dropship. I'm not seeing a Widowmaker. Are you?
I'm not seeing one either, and it's definitely something you don't have to play if you have someone to get in the back line. But Tracer, she can't climb walls, and neither can McCree, nor can he even get quite to the back line there. So I think Ait might be having a field day on this one.
Yeah, if Ait can play his game, hit his shots, it's going to be very difficult for the Skyhounds to win with this composition. They've got a really good fight on point, but they just don't have anyone who can really get to Ait here. He's gonna be free shooting up here.
Yeah, you got to play the right angles here and just bully. They're just going to have to bully Toxic off the point at this point. Oh, Raiden with the opening pick, though, on Ait. But who's the real sniper in this battle here?
Skyhounds heard us talking smack, and Raiden just said Zenyatta is the best sniper in Overwatch, takes the man down, and that's going to bring this initial capture. Should go the way of Skyhound unless Rice does something crazy. Okay, it's going to go the way of the Skyhounds initially. What a madman! What?
Yep, looks like Ait swapping over to the Doomfist in this case. Oh, and then over to the Hanzo. Making a little bit of... he has time to make decisions because Wright's running back at this point, but it looks like he's just going to try to swap it up there so he can deal with this big tank comp.
Yeah. Right now, Orsted just kind of trying to harass the respawns a little bit. Won't let him come back for free. Once that pulse bomb charge... it'll be much harder for the Shock to kind of play.
Robot Walrus, he swaps the Pharah because he sees the Widow swap off. Very interesting. Very heads-up play there on his part.
But he has to be aware. The new Hanzo, that fast arrow can be very reliable for taking down these Pharahs. And now with his team at a man disadvantage, this could be the opportunity play for the Shock. Nano Boost comes on through. Whole Hog is the answer from Mr. Monkey Prince here. Just kidding, Prince is dead.
Well, when you're whole hogging, can't exactly take a breather at the same time. So he was able to get focused down there, but it was a little too late. Skyhounds pretty much dominating the point at this time, and Ait back to Widow. Got a little bit of a identity crisis here on his part, doesn't he?
Yeah, just a little bit. I like the idea. Okay, they start to go to the Pharah. We need the Widowmaker. Hello, what a shot! That's what this guy has switched over for. But it does mean he's not generating much ultimate charge. Dive forward comes through from Pedunji. Walrus has been res in a pretty hard to do so position. So like drops over to that Mercy player. Pedunji and Lamperouge will fall down. Courtesy of Robot Walrus. Knight has been pulled off his high ground. He's in deep trouble. Just barely gets in cover. Robot Walrus isn't done with him yet. Looking for the chase down, but going a bit far forward. Dies to the Venom Mine. That's a bad feeling right there.
Alright, last ditch effort here going on to the point from Toxic. Monkey's going to go ahead and ult, so looks like Raiden's going to counter that though with the Transcendence. Rice popping his Dragon Blade into that too, so not a lot doing there. He's going to try to stall at the last second here. Everyone just kind of coming in at the last bit. Not going to have a lot of things going on here. Widow's going down. Last effort on the point. Moshi. Lucio coming on. Dako. One last chance. Gets flashbanged. Kind of gripped off the point, so they managed to keep him off the point there.
Respect to ToxicShock. You have to make that play with your Winston and your Genji. You've got the ults. Throw them out. It's just the heads up. 7 billion IQ play from Raiden just to be holding that Transcendence there. Ends up eating both of those ultimates up. There's like huge shoutouts to the Omnic Monk from the Skyhounds. Shuts down that potential comeback.
Absolutely. What was interesting there at the very end, too, was Ite on that Widow was able to pick off the Pharah, but the res wasn't able to be stopped because there's just so much meat shield ahead of you. So even though the Widow's down, she's behind a Roadhog, she's behind an Orisa. Not a lot of time for you to do anything. And I don't care if you're in Overwatch League or Bronze League or anything in between, if you don't have the time to get those picks on the Pharah the second time, you're not going to be able to win the point there. So here we go at the start of this match.
Gonna start off Ike under a bit of pressure behind this shield. Dealing a lot of damage, but good healing coming through from Lamperouge will keep him topped off for now. Going dead just yet. Here's the jump forward from a Monkey Prince trying to live up to his name there. Duking it out with the enemy Winston there. Kingdrick and Orsted are down. Monkey Prince falls as well. ToxicShock in control of this one.
Yeah, you'd think that the Reaper would have a lot of control here, but one of the issues with Reaper is that he has a very limited range. So that battle was sprawled out across a lot of the middle of the map here, so he wasn't able to get as much, really that much advantage out of the hero. So hopefully, now that it's on the point, they can take the battle to the point and get even more advantage out of it. But I think it did make the difference, and that's why Toxic was able to actually take the point.
We'll see if Motion Man wants to run it back a little better. Already under a lot of pressure, already dead. Oh my.
Yeah, that's curse.
Yep, and now Orsted coming in for his team, trying to wrap this one up. Takes the healer out with a bow. Has a pulse bomb. Probably wants to hold it here. Could use it for the cleanup, but that would be a little extra. This one is all Skyhounds all day.
Yeah, getting that pick on Moshi made a huge difference. Just like he was a little bit zoned out of the first fight, he was absolutely destroyed in the beginning of that. But you got to hand it to him, though. They almost made a comeback there. They got a couple, a little bit of good pushing there. So let's see what happens here. Is Moshi going to stick on Reaper? That's my question.
It is a little interesting. He's a hard hero to really support, right? You don't have kind of the Harmony Orb to follow him around on flanks. You don't have the double dive tanks to really protect him. He needs a support structure to really carry games like he would like. Not quite there yet. Now Robot Raw is spamming so much damage into ToxicShock as they come in, but they have the sound barrier and the coalescence to work with. Ike still manages to fall down regardless. Rice is down for this one, and Moshi Man having a bit of a hard matchup against the Pharah.
Yeah, that initiation was actually quite good on Toxic's part, but they just, their backline just kind of got a little bit beat up there. So, I would, again, that the Reaper has to get an opportunity to fight here. I think that time he actually got the opportunity to, but 2 people were dead before he was in range. So, let's see if his ult works out.
Hey, Just gotta find a good one there. There's a term that good caster use sometimes that I'm gonna borrow here. Just ToxicShock could not win their ones, so to speak here. But now Raiden under pressure from this Winston. Primal Rage looks like Prime to throw him just off the map here. Good play, but Robot Walrus just kills 3 people. It was a beautiful ult Pedungi, but the Pharah just has you one better.
Yeah, it's the same issue here. Your backline is just in trouble. And if your backline's in trouble, you can't get value out of the people who are trying to push in. It's kind of like a weird mix of comps here on the Toxic side. So, I don't think they're going to get back to the point, though. I think this might be it.
Could be. They do have the Winston. They're going to try and burn him down before he can get there. There's actually an Orisa here. Not in time, though. Skyhounds looking dominant here on Ilios.
Absolutely. I think we've pretty much said it all during the game as to why that might be, and this Robot Walrus play is going to demonstrate what happened here. Basically, Robot Walrus, very hard to contest without a hit scan. You know, we're in a weird place here in this meta where, and they even went on Ana to try to help with it a little bit too, as we see there. But he was able to just stay alive, and unless Ait was able to get massive picks every time, you know, hit the headshot literally on the first 2 shots, there wasn't anything going to be doing. And like I said, I don't care if you're in Overwatch League. Even the best Widows in the world can't hit, you know, the first shot every time or the second shot. If people are dead by the 3rd Widow shot, you got other issues you got to deal with than the Pharah. So
very, very true. Excellent insight there. We will be going to halftime here. While we wait for that, HX. The Shock's having a bit of a hard time. They're down 2-0 in this series. They're kind of down and out if they lose another. What do the ToxicShock fans at home, what are they praying for to happen in this next one? What is the change the Shock needs to make?
Well, Toxic had a, really strong push on King's Row on their first push. And I think that's really where they succeeded. Once they got the momentum, they were able to just keep pushing the payload the entire way to the end without even an interruption. Didn't work so well for them the second time. I think they got to find that momentum that they had there, and they got to pick a map. If I was them, I would pick a solid hybrid or a solid payload map here. I think payload is what I would be looking for as a Toxic fan. That's where I think they'll excel. And yes, while Skyhounds did manage to pull out the win, maybe with a full payload map, they can keep that momentum from the very beginning of the game.
Entirely possible. I do want to clarify, though, they are required to pick an assault map in this one. Their choices are Hanamura and Horizon Lunar Colony. I probably should have led with that one before asking that question for you there. But
that's all right. I'm a little new to Pretenders League. Hello, everyone. I'm HX9, by the way. So, yeah. Well, in that case, good luck. Good luck. They did not control any of the point on Ruins. So they did control with the Reaper at the beginning. So maybe they should pick one of the closer, close-knit maps where they can really take advantage of their Reaper player if they're really looking to, utilize him. In that case, Lunar Colony might be a little sketchy on point B, a little hard to get Reaper value there. Hanamura, a little hard to get your Reaper in there. So what does that leave you with, really? Anubis? Yeah, I'd go with Anubis. That's actually pretty good Reaper point 2. And they could use the Widow on point A.
They very much could. I'm going to go ahead and call my prediction to be Hanamura here. This is a team that has proved to have a very strong offense. Defense hasn't been quite there yet. So I think if you just pick a map that has a bit more of a defender's bias like Hanamura does on that first point, I think if they can show their offensive prowess there, kind of roll through that one, and then take advantage of the defender's advantages, I think that's going to be their best bet here. At least in my opinion. We'll have to see what they want to do with that. For me, if I'm the Skyhounds, I think I want to see Horizon Lunar Colony come out there. That one really is demanding on the team play to make organized pushes into point B, which can be so hard to break through at times. I think that favors the wonderful teamwork we've seen from the Skyhounds so far.
Sure. You know what's great about Lunar Colony, too? Farah. Farah actually works on the attackers team quite well on point A. They'll be able to take advantage of Robot Walrus, who's really been dominating on Farah. It also actually can work pretty well on point B if you're pretty confident in your ability to not only keep your Farah alive with some massive healing, which they were getting there, which Robot Walrus was getting on King's Row, but also you can kind of hide up in the rafters. So if you're up in the rafters, Widow can't see you up in the rafters. So it can actually be an interesting play, but you got to be careful though. If with a really strong Widow, she's going to get that angle on you, and she's going to punish you for playing fair on that map. So I think it's a little bit of a toss up there, but yeah, I want to see Lunar Colony too. Looks like though they did choose Hanamura for the map.
Yep. Gonna respect that call from the Shock, if for no other reason than to not give Robot Walrus another good Farah map. Man's been on fire. Literally, there's an in-game mechanic that tells us when he's on fire, and it has been telling us this dude is on his stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Someone's going to have to get the plates for ToxicShock so that they, if they get served, they're ready to go. But let's hope that doesn't happen this time. I hope this is as close as the first two rounds on King's Row here, and I think it might be. Well, ToxicShock's advantage, like you said, that's going to be on point A. I think they're going to have trouble on point B if it gets to that.
Point B could be a little difficult, but all the same, Rice has a very strong soldier in his hero pool, so he can control that high ground really, really well. That could be a real boon to them there on point B, where sometimes it really feels like just taking the high ground on Hanamura B is more or less equivalent to winning.
Yeah, it's very true. Once you get any kind of ultimate up there from a hit scan player like Soldier or McCree, they've got open sight to the entire map, and when you're on the point, there are only those two little, I don't know, I like to call them phone booths, but I know they're not phone booths. Two little phone booth structures on the right on the point, and you really can't hide behind them in time. So, yeah, that high ground is pretty crazy, but getting that high ground is a challenge in and of itself. If you're against a Junkrat, if you're against a May, even if you're against just a Reinhardt Zarya, they are not really willing or easy to take that high ground from that tiny little door on the top floor.
Oh, no, not at all. You will kind of combine the soldier with the Junkrat, just have the Junkrat throwing those bombs down in that narrow space. No one's going to get close to the soldier. No one gets close to the soldier. That uncontested damage from the high ground, it is one heck of a storm. And no phone booths are going to save you from that one. Also, I really don't know what those things are actually called. I'm going to have to keep using the phone booth terminology. I'm gonna put that in the Slinktionary.
Yeah, it's a shrine, right? It's a shrine in the lore. It's a shrine for Hanzo to Genji's brother, it's a shrine to Hanzo's brother Genji. Words, right? There's the sword there sitting on the point. So I don't know. Maybe there's a word for those things in a shrine. Maybe we've got to go look in Wikipedia for this one. Figure out what we need here.
The vaguely phone booth-sized and shaped lantern things in a Japanese shrine. Yeah, someone Google search that for me and let me know.
A lot of words.
A lot of words. Still, this is ToxicShock's last word, or could be their last word in this series. If they kind of don't want to get shut down here. Skyhounds, they have them by the throat. Now is the time to pull out whatever wacky cheese you need to secure that victory. So enough, we might be having a few technical problems in the lobby. It's just going to be a little bit longer as we approach the end of our halftime break. I don't know. HX, are you much of a prediction man? I keep asking you for those, but I never really asked. Do you like making predictions, HX?
I do like making predictions when I'm pretty well informed. And after 2 games, I'm pretty confident in the Skyhounds' ability here. I think Hanamura is, that halfway map that's pretty strong for them. They're certainly going to be getting point A, I think. The real question becomes, can ToxicShock's hero pool pull together with that soldier or with maybe even with the Reaper to get that high ground on point B. That's ultimately what it comes down to. So if I had to make a prediction right now, it's on the Skyhounds to shut down the hero pool of ToxicShock. Don't let the Reaper be productive. Don't let the Widow, if they bring that out, be productive. And just hold the choke.
So, yeah, and I think they absolutely can do it. They have shown phenomenal mechanical and team skill. I've loved watching these guys so far. Even if it does end here, it's been a spectacle in my books. I cannot wait to see these teams again. It's been a great time, especially just kind of like shout out to a few names that have really stuck out to me that I really didn't get a chance to yell much in the match. It's really easy to kind of get held up on the Robot Walrus, the David, Pedungi, whatever, the ones who really light up the kill feed. Raiden has really excelled in his Zenyatta play, though. His use of Transcendence has been phenomenal. Dako really kind of comes to mind. He's got some incredible reses in the time we watched him play. I could not be more excited about our next match here on Hanamura.
Absolutely. You know, the thing about supports, and what's interesting about them is if you're doing everything right, people won't notice you doing anything at all. And that's the great thing, because you know people aren't dying, people are staying alive. You get that Transcendence out. You know, it's the big ultimates that get noticed. But you got to notice the other plays too. Remember, it was Raiden who got that, and I'm sure you remember this, Sleek, as we called it out there. He got that pick on Ike right at the beginning, or an Ike right at the beginning of the ruins. So amazing, you know, amazing aim.
Truly, this man has really shown up on these healers. Very impressive. I'm in love with this guy already. I've loved so much of the Skyhounds roster. Definitely going to be one team you're going to have to keep an eye on as our little league here moves on forward. I'm experimenting with that Bastion positioning. Do you think they continue to run the Bastion here, or is this just messing around in pregame lobby?
Oh, it's messing around in pregame. I'm actually more interested in the Skyhounds here in this case. They got the Mei. You know, you see the Mei often on this point in Hanamura, and it's interesting because one bad wall, and they're running you over. So it's gonna be interesting. See how it works out for them.
Still, her choke point control is second to none. If Robot Walrus can execute really well here, this could be amazing. They're bringing in the Bastion. They are making this happen here, HX. What's the game plan? It's a Bastion.
Stand in that choke and shoot down that shield. Doesn't matter if Mei's not going to help you if your players are dying from the choke point.
No, not at all. Beautiful play from ToxicShock. They're trying to take out Robot Walrus if they can. So close, but Frozen is the Bastion. They do finally kill Satan herself. And ToxicShock's really having a great offense here early on.
That's a good read on Toxic's part for that. You know, bringing out the Bastion is a great way to punish teams that don't have a lot of damage. And when your damage is Mei plus Widowmaker, that's not really enough to punish you. So the walls go up, the damage comes out, the shield will not break, and you get a point.
I mean, honestly, incredible here. Actually seems like there's going to be a request for a pause rolling out. Or never mind. I'm a little curious, is there a disconnect that I'm not seeing? It's, whatever, alright, we're fine. Seems, as Monkey Princess said on your screen there, that a Toxic is being toxic. Who would have guessed? Who would have guessed? And now the Dragon Strike coming through! Might hit something. Maybe.
Yeah, the Junkrat came out, Robot Walrus jumping down on top of Ite, taking him out. Looks like Skyhound's going to hold this point pretty easily here. You know, it's a little bit of back and forth there. Will getting the kill on Robot Walrus. Will, of course, substitute in here for... Actually, I don't remember who he substitute. Hey, welcome to the game, Will.
Yeah. Thank you for joining us, Will. What name is mysteriously missing from the side of the stock? We still have Ite and Pedungi and... Alright, I'm confused. I I'm a little embarrassed. I'm sorry, 7th member of the ToxicShock, whose name is escaping me right now. Oh man, I feel terrible. I should know the name. I should know.
Someone from production, get in here.
Oh well.
It'll hit us when we, it'll hit us.
Yeah. Give me like a minute and it'll come to me. But right now, the Skyhounds just waiting for the ToxicShock to come to them because they got 4 ultimates in their name right now. Their defensive tools are absolutely massive at this moment.
Oh, it's Rice. Rice who's stepping in. That's right.
Oh wait, that means they're rolling without their soldier. We were just talking about this.
Yeah, very interesting.
Oh boy. That works out.
Double sniper coming in here.
Now Robot Lost bouncing around a lot on this Junkrat here. The fight's getting a little chaotic, but here comes a Riptire to capitalize on said chaos. Finds Pedungi here, and running out of bodies is the ToxicShock right now. They're still trying to make do with this Hanzo. Diva Bomb makes life difficult, but they're surviving for now. Getting some capture progress, but actually things look pretty solid for them right now. They could pull this together.
Yeah, Skyhound's got everyone on the point now at this point, so it looks like Toxic's going to be retreating. Ide up at the top was picked off by Raiden there with the bio grenade. So Toxic manages to get the tick here for one reason: Moshi's ult. Self-destruct goes up on the point, and then Skyhound's kind of backed off a little too much there. They could have had Reinhardt stand on the point, or they could have had D.Va sacrifice a mech, and then pop her counter self-destruct there. But yeah, one tick. I'd say that's a pretty good trade there for Toxic. 4 minutes to go.
4 minutes. A lot to work with here, and what I think the big thing that we should be looking at is they bait out a lot of Skyhound ultimates. They just have the Supercharger Orisa and the Infra Sight that is coming out right now, but Pedungi has his Earth Shatter, Sound Barrier available for Dock attacks. This could be a big fight for the ToxicShock.
Yeah, Moshi already down though, out of his mech. I would say at this point you got to pull out here, but Dungy disagrees and he's charging in as Will gets the pick on Raiden. Ike gets Akari in the back there, and Will's up on the top high ground that we mentioned before, and he takes out Mercy. So looks like Toxic.
You can find Robot Walrus and his Riptire here. This could just win the fight for them. Oh dear. That was unfortunate ignorance of consequences from Will there. He makes a huge impact in this fight. No longer gonna be there. Respawns coming through for the Skyhounds. Just needs a little more on the Moira. Does Akari here. Supercharger is in play, but there's a Diva Bomb right on top of him. Will lose his ultimate. Come in an extended fight that should favor the Skyhounds here. They have the Valkyrie, they have the spawn advantage, and they've got the ToxicShock by the throat here.
Yeah, ultimately losing Will up top caused them to lose the damage that they needed. Oh, I kind of throwing his ult away there at the end. Not so sure about that. Maybe he's choosing to switch here. But yeah, ultimately losing Will up top caused them to have not enough damage to really punish Skyhound. So Skyhounds was able to regroup, really hide behind that Orisa shield. And although the Diva ult did take out her Supercharger, it didn't take out much else. Skyhounds recovered.
Now, so, if you are ever going around your daily rounds of internet debates on how balanced Overwatch is or not, and someone tries to tell you that Total Mayhem is a useless passive ability, show them a clip of that. That had huge consequences because Will did not respect Robot Walrus' passive. Kind of saves the fight there, as far as the Skyhounds are concerned.
Yep, gotta love that icon too. Smiling bomb.
Who doesn't love a smiling
Kind of makes you want to hug him.
Just hug those bombs. That'll go well. But now Ike falls down to a big play. We see the boosted Tracer here. We'll see if she's able to take out this mech. Target is left on out here. Hit down by the hot fire strike from Pedungi here. Looking pretty solid as the Rayman, but needs this health pack and needs it now. Pretty similar from Lucio works. Dragon Strike coming through the fight. Dislocate some of the enemy. Coalesce is putting a lot of pressure on the Skyhounds right now. Here's the Shatter! That hits 3. That should be a concatenate of kills for the Skyhounds. They're coming real close to taking this point here.
Get another tick there, and looks like Dungy's going to go ahead and keep swinging on David, keep swinging on Raiden. Dungy actually got an amazing charge kill on Mercy at the very beginning of this fight, which prevented a res. So that is kind of holding it together. Ite got picked pretty early. He was able to run back here, and he's going to go ahead and take out Hunter Arc. It's just a matter of time, and there it is. Toxic takes point 2 with a minute 5 to spare. That glorious one little bit of time over a minute might make the difference.
Looking very, very strong. The Lamp Man on Moira is really showing his stuff right now. I mean, 3 kills right at the end of that fight. Incredibly impressive from here there. I want
Smart play. Yeah, gotta aim that ult at the enemy and not at your team when you're winning the point. Sometimes, you know, you get a little caught up in healing, but not Lamper. Lamper, like, absolutely was aiming at the right targets there. When you have your Reaper down, which, well, at the very end, the Reaper was managed to come back. Once your Reaper's coming back there, you're good. But without the Reaper there, you need that damage.
Yep. Now, I guess this is another important question. Is it like, Lamp Rouge or Lamp with a silent E Rogue, or how do we say this one?
Oh, just say Lamper.
Oh, yeah, I guess I just
Lamp. I love Lamp.
But yeah, Lamper is no problem. Sure, anyone could say that. If you were trying to say this guy's full name, I'm asking him this after the match. It has my curiosity.
Well, maybe it's Lamper Rouge, like Moulin Rouge.
That is entirely possible. Now, Ite is back on the Bastion. A little bit of an awkward spot to do it, though. The mildly elevated ground kind of gets in his way. Can't quite sit on the rock. We'll see how it goes.
Oh, I don't know. That mildly elevated ground, that's a little bit of cover there, if you ask me. He can basically be covered about 75%. But I think the real issue with running Bastion here, though, to be clear on Hanamura, is if they come charging through that payload, you don't have a lot of ground between you and the enemy if they come around that left side as we face come through the alley, basically. So we'll have to see which direction. Ooh, but they're running dive.
It's interesting. They have the Pharah, and that one's a bit of a skill matchup between the Pharah and the Bastion. They got taken from range, but you see how quickly the Bastion can really put the hurt on the Pharah. It's gonna come down a lot to execution here between these two DPS heroes. Now, like the dive tanks in Hunter Arc, he will go forward, try and make the space here. Just continue raining of rockets onto Ike, making it a little hard for either team to really gain much ground one way or another.
Yeah, Bear coming in over the top here. He's going to actually get a great angle on the Bastion, able to get him to low health here. Mercy's kind of pocketing him. Most of the action going on there. Akari manages to finish off Moshi Man there on Orisa, and Hunter's just kind of holding the point here, trying to hold the corner, waiting for that healing orb from Zenyatta to heal him up. Bungie, though, going to punish people who are on the point. King Rick getting the res on David. A lot of stuff going on here in a lot of different angles. Lamper Rouge popping one last ditch effort here to try to hold the point, and they're going to be missing that ult on point B.
They are definitely going to be missing that one. Big shout outs to Robot Wallace in that fight. Shuts down the res coming out from Dakotak. He tried to get Ite back into the fight, who had his tank configuration. That could have been a game changer if it goes through. But Robot Wallace kind of Goomba stomps him with the rocket launcher. And it ends up working out for the Skyhounds. And they've got 4 ultimates to press their attack here. I don't know what else to say, but ToxicShock has their work cut out for them in this one.
Yeah, it looks like Skyhounds are leaving Raiden behind as they all take the high ground and push in with Mercy's ultimate here. Oh, and got the Winston ult as well. Oh, but Bastion popping his tank mode. He's going to try to shoot Railroad Waters out of the sky, but misses. And, well, looks like Barrage is going to take him out.
And now, the Skyhounds in a very good position to take this point very, very quickly. Lamper, again, one of the last people alive on this point. Won't survive much longer. They've still got Will. Oh, but sorry, Will. I shouldn't have said that. He's dead now, folks. And the point, comes very close to falling. At least on my client side, the point capping sound actually played before the ToxicShock got back on point. Going back into this one, they work with that Earth Shatter, and it looks like they actually are going to be able to stabilize here. It's just Robot Walrus, and he accepts his fate. And they're not going to give it to him.
That's really the power of D.Va there when you are trying to stall. She's probably the best stall character in the non-Brigitte meta because, well, it's just hard to do enough damage to her quickly enough and get her out of mech with all your projectiles. But we can tell, you know, Toxic was a little unprepared for that attack from the outside, and I mean, I don't blame him either. That's kind of a weird angle of approach there, not very commonly used, but definitely worked out for the Skyhounds. The other interesting thing is that Lamperouge's ult not being there really came into play. Had they had that, I'm pretty confident that Ait's Bastion ult would have survived and that Pharaoh would have gone down with the barrage. No ticks awarded.
And that becomes a very, very different fight here. In ultimate usage, so important at this level. We'll see how Will uses this ultimate. Akari regretting jumping down here. Now the Mercy's in trouble. He does find Kingrick and is gonna be happy that one and get out. But jump forward from the McCree. Ait will pay for that one with his life. So I think Respawn Advantage is gonna forgive that little bit of aggression. Overall, that fight is just defined by a good Dragon Blade from Will. And the Skyhounds time takes away.
Yeah, really, what are you going to do when a Genji comes jumping in for you? That's the question, and with the current comp they have, there's no really way to stun him. You just got to get the Discord up on him and hope that you can aim for him. So, pretty risky play, but risk paid off for Will there.
Certainly did. David trying to get his neck back. He lost it in the whole Genji debacle. So really mind that Moira damage orb. He's supposed to have it back here. He just needs to find a little head to think. There it is. Now the Skyhounds are ready to resume their attacks. The kill on the height is really big from Robot Walrus. Making a huge play come in there. The fight on the point is coming through here. And Will trying to make it happen. Once interrupt this resurrect from Kingrick. Cannot do so. Robot Walrus is back, friends. And he is raining damage from the high ground. But Ike takes him once more.
Yeah, I with the 4-player kill with the high noon there, but most of them were already injured. So, now I'm going to give you credit for that one. That was huge. Pretty good. You know what was bigger, though? Will's actually takedown at the top. He got those 2 initial picks there, on one of them on Zenyatta on Raiden, and ultimately that sealed the deal for push them.
That high noon is much harder to get out when Skyhounds have more health available to them. But now Transcendence coming through from Raiden. Does get his team onto the point here. It does do that, but Hunter, Ark, and David are down. Kingrick not surviving either. I'm gonna go ahead and call that one a little early on that Transcendence. I think they would have to wait until they're already on point for that.
Probably just a little bit early, though. I think he might have been just popping it to defend himself against Will, who's absolutely on fire this match, pretty much ripping the enemy team apart here. And he's got his Dragon Blade back already, so yeah, this is gonna be crazy.
Once again, Raiden has switched over to Moira, so no defensive ultimate really available to answer this blade. Will could have a heyday in this next fight as well. Attempts to jump behind him, pulls it out, looking for Raiden, or just the mech will do. Tactical visor coming out from Robot Walrus, doing a lot of work is David's Diva Bomb. Holy moly, that'll do it! Well, there you go. There you go.
Yeah, hard to believe David's not in Overwatch League after some of the plays he's making tonight. The Reinhardt plays, the Diva play here too. You know, this guy's doing great. He's doing work. And that bomb, if we could, I hope we get to see that on the play of the game. Because that bomb angle, steam.
It was marvelous. Wish we could have got a better shot of it. Maybe it'll be play of the game. We'll have to see. And now, it's close again. It's 2-2 here on Hanamura. This is, we're getting pretty dangerously close to the last chance of the ToxicShock here. They will have the first attack. They have to set an unbeatable progress amount, or they're out of it.
Incoming in 30 seconds.
Last chance.
It's going to be interesting. Looks like they might be opting for a triple tank comp here with Zarya, which would be a very interesting choice when you have a low amount of time. Although Zarya is very strong on this point, it's sometimes difficult to get your ult all the way up in that minute. So 5 extra seconds, maybe that'll be the amount of time they need to get that extra charge. But I'll have to see how they build around it. Everyone's picked though, so gotta get to the door there, Toxic. Don't have a lot of time.
And now the defense setting up between Akari and Robot Walrus. The Junkrat Widowmaker combination. I like this one a lot because the spam damage reduces the kill threshold from the Widowmaker. Yeah, keeping the enemy team just generally low with that Junkrat left click. You don't need headshots, just body shots. But now Pudgy throws his way into this fight here. He's low and in trouble and in the ground, courtesy of the Roadhog.
Time for one more fight. You gotta get out of here, Toxic. Lampa Rouge aiming for the door, but gets fire struck by David. They're probably not going to have him for the final fight, or it'll be very close. Toxic reposturing here for the next push. In terms of ult economy here, Robot Walrus coming up on that tire. And that's about it. Everyone else a little bit low. Kingrick possibly going to get that Valkyrie as well.
There's 10 seconds left for Dungy. You just got to get on the payload, man, but he gets kind of CC'd there. Are they going to be able to get here? But Dungy does jump on the point. There will be an overtime stall, but Robot Walrus took out 2! There's no one coming in to support this Reinhardt player. He gets the massive shatter there right at the end, but that is going to be the end of this attack, I believe. Hunter Arc will close it with that one. Oh, hello.
Yep.
Hold on. Oh, is he gonna make it? He's definitely trying. He does find 2, but he's dead. He's dead.
And up in the Junkrat trap in the corner there. Kind of not expect a Junkrat trap to be in that particular position on the bench, but no, unpredictable Junkrat trap might lead to the win here, and it does.
Oh, Will kind of had my heart stopping there for a second. For the briefest moment, he's got the blade. Support ultimates aren't available. He really could have done it, but he was just surrounded by so much damage. Gets caught in the trap. What are you gonna do?
I don't know. When you got 6 other people shooting at you, it's a little difficult to pick targets, but once it's down to 4 and then possibly down to 3, you know, you might survive long enough. And remember, Attacker's got a little bit of a shorter run here on the, not by much, but it's still shorter. So that was a chance. Junkrat trap though, interesting position there. But ultimately, that fight, if I had to say, it came down to ult economy. They were able, Robot Walrus able to get that tire that quickly, and that pick at the very beginning with getting 2 people in it, both the Zarya and the Lucio. That's really what opened them up to winning that, in spite of Will's amazing ult charge as well.
Yep. So what are you gonna do? And now there is a minute 27 on the clock here for the Skyhounds. They just need 1 tick, and they win the series here. The ultimate pressure is on here for the ToxicShock, and we got Will back on the Hanzo. I've liked this guy's Hanzo so far. How are you feeling it for this last-ditch effort?
I don't know, he was pretty strong on the Genji, so I would have liked to see him on the Genji still. But I know he's probably got to go Hanzo because he knows likely fair is coming, so good choice.
Do like the selection. They will be running double snipers here to shut down their attackers. They really want to pluck Robot Walrus out of the sky here. But so far, he's just spraying damage into these tanks, making life very difficult for the red team Reinhardt here. Motion Man will fall down, but not before he takes an Orisa. This could be rezzed out. Both, actually, Rez is going to be exchanged there.
Yeah, well, look at David here standing on point with Roadhog. Manages to sneak through there, and Robot Walrus still up. Looks like the advantages here is on Toxic, but Robot Walrus just has yet to be shut down, and that may be the long-term factor. Got some people running back at this point. Looks like I would expect Dakota. Dakota. I'd expect Dakota to get back quite quickly here, though.
Oh, Dakota! That's what it's Dakota! Oh my god.
I accidentally pronounced it right.
Good job, man. Good job, HX. Dakota. God, the C threw me off so much. But right now, Will throwing off the attack here of the Skyhounds so much. Really denying them a lot of progress here. They're down to 1 second. Actually, can they get on the point? No, they can't. That's it. It's a draw. Draw Namura. Who would have thought?
Yeah. Good draw too. I mean, even though they weren't able to shut down Robot Walrus when he threw his ult in there at the very end, and with the Hog, who was on Hog there, David on the Hog, kind of running into point, didn't have a lot of time. Here's that high noon. See how much damage this did here. Okay, it's a lot more damage than I thought it was. So that's very strong play there.
That was incredible. I'm happy with a draw here, because it means we get at least one more game to keep things going. One more game to say Dakota's name right. And I'm pumped. These teams, very, very close. The series score very heavily favors the Skyhounds, but the individual matches have been so close. Really, these teams are at each other's necks the entire time, and I love it!
So I'm new to Pretenders. Tell me, what are the rules here? So I know in Overwatch League and in other leagues, both teams get a point there, and at this point it would be Skyhound's game. What are the rules here? Where do we go from here?
We will be playing a tiebreaker here. The team that picked the map that went to a tie will pick the map the tiebreaker is held on. They will have their choice of payload maps, and in our current map pool we have Junkertown and Gibraltar, so ToxicShock is going to be able to choose from one of those two.
Interesting. You know, Toxic ran that. They were the ones that ran the Bastion, right? Yeah, they ran the Bastion. So, you know, I'm feeling Junkertown.
I think you're going to be right on that one, and not just because we're currently looking at the match lobby and can see that they've selected Junkertown. Totally because of the Bastion analysis. Think you really have that on the head there. We've seen some good Orisa play come out as well. I mean, this could be their map. I think they have been waiting for the game modes to reach payload just so they could pick Junkertown. I think this is where this team is really going to shine here.
Yeah, I agree. I see some swaps here going on as we're waiting for the game to start. What's interesting here is are Skyhounds on the back foot here? Are they feeling a little bit pressured after that? And again, you know, Junkertown isn't traditionally a Pharah map, but it looks like they might be swapping out Robot Walrus for that reason. So we'll have to see what happens.
I really do not want to run a Pharah on Junkertown ever. It's so good for Widowmakers and Bastions alike. Two characters that have no problems really plucking a Pharah out of the sky here. So I am a-okay with that switched. Also just excited to get new players in the mix. We'll see what this Orsted character can do here. A lot of pride's on the line for both these teams right now. Skyhounds want to close this one out as quickly as possible. But there's two narratives that these teams are kind of there's a bit of fear on both these teams right now. The fear for ToxicShock is they have to get a reverse sweep to win. That is massive pressure to perform, and with the Skyhounds, they have to fear getting reverse swept. If they lose a game here, it's real easy for kind of newer teams to really get that into their head. They'll lose the first game, and the second someone says in comms, "Are we about to get reverse swept?" Spoiler alert, they get reverse swept. It's really easy to get mentally snowballed in this situation. A real test of player endurance.
All right, well, here it is, Junkertown. Looks like we had a couple swaps here too. We got Monkey Prince and Orsted for Skyhounds, who are now on the red side. Toxic now on the blue side with Will, Dakota, Lamper. Or do I have it backwards? Yeah, no, I got it.
You got it right. ToxicShock is the team with Will and Lamper on it. Akari and Orsted are over on the side of Skyhounds. The color swap is definitely throwing me for a little bit of a loop, I will admit. But hey, we know what players. I just say I love the design of Junkertown. It is just such a well-imagined map in my eyes. Just look at it. God, it's freaking gorgeous.
Yeah, look at these buildings built on the outer wall. It almost makes you wonder why there's a wall there at all. If your house is on the outside, what is that wall doing for you?
Well, I mean, if you think about it, those houses are pretty well elevated. So if someone really wants to break into one of those, they have to really, like, get their climbing shoes on and then climb straight up a 90-degree angle. That's not easy to do.
Hey, we're in the world of jetpacks, grappling hooks, and Bastion tank shots going into the walls here. I don't know. I don't know if this helps you against an Omnic attack.
To be fair, in the event of an Omnic attack, I really feel like walls themselves are just an antiquated concept. You know,
Attackers
lanes,
incoming in 30 seconds.
bombs,
Doors that open,
yeah,
buddy.
giant Russian fighting robots. I mean,
Oh, those things just look right over these walls, don't they?
oh yeah, they had to just kind of walk on up, maybe kick them over. If I was in the world of Overwatch, walls would not bring me much mental security. Maybe it'd make me feel a little better about the idea of like an Omnic invasion or something, but not if I really thought about it much at all. Regardless, it's up to ToxicShock to really defend Junkertown now. And it will be Orsted here running the Junkrat for these guys here.
Skyhounds got to get the shield up for Orsted there as he's laying waste to the enemy team. Akari getting the early pick there on Will. Looks like he's going to come around the big open corner here, though, uncontested on the Bastion. Once this Bastion gets around this corner, it's pretty much free picking.
Very hard to fight him in this angle he's about to get, but he's pulled off the payload by the Orisa halt. But I think Skyhounds might have already taken too many lives here. Oh, did they take out it? This is McCree play, trying to make it happen. Trying to make the hero play, but yeah, we'll actually just die here. Farewell, really well.
And they're all jumping in on Orsted here, but yeah, it's not happening. He's getting healed really well by Raiden. Might be hard to see, but Raiden's pretty much pumping in on a on a sniper shots into him. Yeah, you're just not gonna die in that case. On to point 2.
Orsted really showing a lot of confidence on his Bastion, not panicking much at all. A wise man once explained playing the Bastion to me as spraying and praying. You see the enemy, you spray. You see the enemy, and there's not a barrier in between you and them, then you pray. And right now, he's proven he doesn't need prayers to stay alive. He just has so much confidence on his character. Keeping cool and his team protecting him very well, but you can't protect him from a Dragon Strike. Will, the Madman takes 3, looking for more. Trying to light up a shot onto the Roadhog. Not really necessary though. The fight is won. Awesome. Top tier Hanzo play.
Yeah, it's the tricky part when you're a Bastion. Once you're in that sentry, if you're not in that recon mode, you're in that sentry mode. You gotta get out of it as soon as you hear Hanzo say, "You." First words of his ult. Otherwise, you're dead.
As a door nail. And now, a little bit of sniper duel in progress. Orsted trying to maneuver his way back to this point. He's got the ultimate to try and fight back into it. But are they committing too hard to the Bastion right now, or is this okay because you have the ultimate? Oh, goodbye. Goodbye, Kingrick. We knew you well.
I don't know. I think if you can't get around that corner, that ultimate's not doing you much. So I would have liked to see it swap a little sooner here, but they are going to commit to it, and let's see if they can find a path in here. There's one path that the Bastion can take, and he can actually boost himself into the window, potentially. But, yeah, you can't be pushed. If the enemy team's pushed up this far, you can't make that route.
We'll see the whole hog is coming on out from Moshi Man. Prince is shut down. Transcendence on point for the ToxicShock. They're trying to just survive the nano boosted ulting Bastion. That that's scary. I'm gonna have nightmares about that image just like coming around the corner at me. But Orsted might just be to do another Dragon Strike. But nope. We'll finish them off the old-fashioned way with the new Hondo Storm Arrow.
Yeah, hard to get up there to Will. There's really only the Widow to contest him on the high ground. No one else has that ability other than to walk around, so he's just kind of holding an angle here, trying to stay out of the Widow's sight. They're going to duel here, and Akari is able to pull it off. And while that's going on, the rest of this team's pushing forward, and looks like Toxic's kind of hiding in the corner here inside the building. You got to get on that point, and Dakota getting slapped. Raiden with landing that shot. Looks like that's going to cause the Orisa to fall, and
but Orsted is back here, and that's gonna be point B. And the Bastion's back! He's made it all the way to point 3. Normally we see the switch off after the first death of the Bastion, but Skyhounds have really stuck to their guns here. I'm just worried that Will's just gonna ult this dude again. and Skyhounds are going to be fighting 5v6 again.
Now, as long as he pushes his recon mode, gets out of that sentry mode fast enough, he should be able to dodge it, but we'll have to see if that happens.
Now Motion Man trying to pull him off the payload, and nice for his trouble. The Roadhog flank, really not the ideal way to deal with the Bastion. Now taking out his Omnic teacher there. The res is good on the Zenyatta, but these barriers cannot survive here. Sid does finally juke out the Dragon Strike. He's done it, folks. He's lived. The easy kill Bastion button is gone here. What can they do?
Well, Will's going to try to get that, or he's going to go ahead and get that pick on Raiden, so now Bastion's kind of without a healer. Rissa popping Supercharger here, but Orsted, using that Supercharger, is able to just do a lot of damage, but because he's stationary, Motion Man can just aim his ult, and Whole Hog takes him down. Kingrick's going to go ahead and try to clean up here, and, oh, Ait! Wow, Kingrick cleaning up Akari, like the sniper is basically taking advantage of the chaos there in the Bastion's death.
They hard
it's almost over.
Bastion, and that lets the snipers do whatever they want. Kingrick takes out Will here. There's a few enemies left. Has to deal with his Supercharger though. Can't really scatter arrow that one. You can see Kingrick tried to, but now Will is gonna be back here, following his Mercy into battle. Orsted back once again. Really not one to be deterred.
Yeah, Lamperouge actually getting a lot of damage on Orsted there, and great aim on Zenyatta, great discord and awareness there. So gotta hand it to him there. He did try to hold on to that, but ultimately it looks like this push is gonna go to the Skyhounds.
Yep, they knew their game plan. The game plan was Bastion and a Hanzo, and they executed beautifully. Really strong stuff. Will, I cannot stop saying this dude's name enough. He's been on fire in these last couple games, especially on the Hanzo. Just did not have it in him. Overwatch team game, hero play can only get so far. I mean, I guess technically they're all heroes, so everyone who's playing the game of Overwatch is technically participating in hero play. Let's not sweat the details, alright?
Some restrictions may apply. Boy, prohibited.
Yeah, sure, that sounds like the exact sentiment I wanted to communicate there.
So here we go. Is it going to be a Bastion? I don't know. It's looking more like a dive here.
Oh, that is pretty interesting to see here. Our attackers coming in for the ToxicShock. Not particularly interested in the Bastion. I really figured this was the game plan with how well Ait played it in the previous rounds. Very surprising. Going across the way. Setting up on the defense. Skyhounds, they got the Widowmaker for Akari. This is just a Widowmaker playground, really. Set up the Venom Mine. Friend, I do not think anyone's gonna really step on that one up there. Might, I see the idea. But, probably gonna want to replace that one when you get the chance, Akari. Just a little heads up, I'm sure you were aware. Anyway.
Oh, you know, you never know. Pharaoh might come out here and raise the roof.
You're right, that is entirely possible. I shouldn't have doubted him for a second. Orsted setting up for a little ambush tracer play. Early kill from Akari, that one's huge.
Yeah, Akari's gotten a lot of opening picks here, so gotta hand it to him. This Widow of his is very...
Orsted does a little flyby on enemy supports. Doesn't really commit to that one too hard, and I can't say I blame him. A lot of tank presence there to make his life difficult. Jump forward is good from Pudgy. Getting right into the enemy backline, really throwing back those healers. Motion Man and Will fall down. And it's looking pretty good for the Skyhounds right now. Ait down as well. And Red Team's got this one under control here. The dive being thrown back in convincing style.
Pretty much 100% anti-dive comp here on the Toxic side. On the Skyhound side. So, you know, it's going to be a little bit tricky for them. I think they might want to change something up for ultimates becoming too big of a factor.
Good look to do that here. Now, Motion Man dives straight in and gets anti-nated in a bad way. And it's just so hard to survive when that healing is cut off there. Raiden doing a very solid job, but cannot save Akari from the Genji. And now it's looking like the Skyhounds might be in a bit of trouble. The kill from Orsted is good on the Motion Man, but maybe not necessarily the one they needed. Response should come through pretty quickly from the ToxicShock. Pulse Bomb! Not really on the mark. That was a bit of an important one to not connect with.
Get out and regroup here if you want to push this point, Toxic. Really, I'd like to highlight the play by Raiden there, though. That anti-nade on the dive hit 3 different players, so you know he's hitting the sleep darts, he's hitting the antis. I think, yeah, Raiden's in contest to be MVP at this particular.
Looking very strong on the Ana, and we'll have that nano boost to make someone else look really, really strong. Who do you figure is his primary kind of nano target here?
Got 2 options here. You can opt to just boost the Tracer for a little bit of extra damage, but probably on the Roadhog ult, that's going to give you a massive amount of damage on those tanks. It's kind of hard to aim, though. Not the best targets.
Well, we'll see what they're able to do with it here. The push coming through from ToxicShock, but now we do see the boosted Roadhog eating some shots from this McCree. Stun is good, but yeah, that nano boost damage resistance came in big for Monkey Prince there. Shutting down the McCree, just not allowing ToxicShock to go anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to see the death counter on this one for their team, for Skyhounds here. I'm thinking they may only have 1 or 2 deaths at this point. Looks like they're switching up the comp here on Toxic side.
We'll do that. They have several ultimates available. Self-destruct going to catch Monkey Prince, but he's got the tankiness to survive it. Will has the Dragon Blade. Will he find a target? He's got the snipers in his sights. Raiden does not connect on the sleep dart, and that's the huge game-changing moment right there. Will pulls it out of his hat. That's how you play Genji, folks. That's how you do it.
Try me.
Absolutely, Sleek. I mean, what I liked about that is, once again, we're seeing just the power of these Diva and just the importance of standing in a place where Diva bombs flying at you, you can take some cover here. So, kudos to him, and also kudos to him on eating most of the Roadhog ult.
To do that now, Valkyrie and Transcendence going to be traded across the way. Lamperouge in trouble from Akari, but no one dying just yet. Ait will be the first casualty. Should be res. Earth Shatter comes through from Prodoji. Just kind of scatters everyone, though. Kill onto Akari is good from Will. That's going to be a really huge one. Do see, oh man, just Will doing so much work here, but everyone on his team is getting very, very low. This could be the turnaround, actually, from the Skyhounds. Lamperouge does not have that res for another 5 seconds. You know he wishes to be bringing these people back, just not an option, though. Stall so far really good from Orsted, but a stall is all it is. ToxicShock will claim point A, but it got real close there for a second.
Yeah, actually, reason they were even able to hold on to is that Raiden was pretty much free to heal that entire time. Got to see Toxic kind of look for him a little bit more, even with their comp that they have now, with a little bit less diviness. He was standing pretty well on that point the whole time. So look out for Raiden again. He's turned out to be really strong in this.
That. Continue to follow on this man. One of the things to keep an eye on in the next one is gonna be Ait and this Deadeye. Right now, Motion Man's down, so I expect more patience from ToxicShock than anything. But a big Deadeye could really blow up ToxicShock right now. Orsted making it so hard for them to really get away with anything. It's being real slippery on the Mississippi Brick here.
Yeah, that's right. I'm not thinking any hero changes are going to be coming into play here at this point. Toxic's going to be looking for that Shatter. What's interesting here is that high ground not being taken by Skyhound, so Shatter is way in the realm of possibility here, where a lot of times it's not.
All right, well here's the pulse bomb, and it's not really going to pan out here. I can't secure that kill either, but Will, with the Dragon Blade, takes out Akari, so close to Raiden, the headshot on the right click, masterfully done. Genji creates an opening for his team once more. Will OP, please don't nerf.
Yeah, this is what they kind of needed and from the last push, and I think they kind of recovered from that first point, and that is, you got to have that backline pressure, and Will was applying it, so both sides were falling, both the front line and the back line fell down about at the same time. Excellent job.
And now they have their shot coming into point 3. They're not going to be able to beat the time of the Skyhounds, but they can still force it to a tiebreaker here. They're working through Padunji's barrier. Is Skyhounds here, but here comes the Deadeye, takes out 2. That's the supports out of the way. Knight is looking for one more, falls to Akari, but down 3 players and healers at that. Will takes out the sniper, the res onto Ite. It's all looking up ToxicShock.
Yeah, Monkey Prince, unfortunately, a little out of position there on the high noon. Could have used his defense matrix to enable them to have enough time to defend that high noon, but he was above him, so he only was able to actually catch 1 of 3 shots. 2 people went down there.
Unfortunate, and now ToxicShock approaching the golden square of a victory here, trying to get that perfect rotation on it, but now the push forward from the transcending Zenyatta makes it very hard for them to push forward. The kill onto Lamperouse is huge, the follow-up onto the second support, even bigger. No support structure for the ToxicShock means no one survives, no one pushes the payload, they do not collect $200, and that payload does not go anywhere.
Unfortunately, Padunji missed his shatter there. The Orisa Hunter Arc actually throwing his shield down right as that happened, so I think that ultimately that decided the play there. Don't have a lot of ults to work with here now. Got a lot on the defense, not a whole lot on.
They do not. It's really kind of the goal of the ToxicShock then. I want to say bait out ultimates. Really, they just need to win this fight outright. Here comes Will with the Dragon Blade. Takes out Akari. That's a good start, but Orsted, what a guy. Gets 2 in the meantime. Support and DPS out of it. Looking for more. So close to finding Padundi here. Thank you, Reinhardt. Not his most natural play, but he makes it work anyway. The last second sub for the Skyhounds pays huge dividends. And as a result, it's down to an incredible stall effort from Moshi Man to try and bring this one together. But I do believe this is probably going to be it in favor of the Skyhounds. They're mere seconds from taking this series in 3-0 fashion. But Will's back. He's not happy with the narrative I laid out. Just kidding. He doesn't have any say in the matter. He's dead, folks.
Well, Lampert gets the res on Moshi. He's actually going to be able to re-mech here. It looks like Will is out of the picture. They're going to have to do a lot of damage to this front line here. Padunji going down again. That shield is now invincible on Hunter Arc's side. This is not going to be able to take good care of it. But Dakota popping the sound barrier. It looks like there's actually going to be a good push here. Pulse bomb goes out. Doesn't hit anybody on Orsid's side. Looks like this is just really long stalled play. Can Toxic bring it back by stalling long enough? Looks like no one's really going down, but Orsted, King Rick getting picks here. King Rick getting another one, Iker, and they're pushed off the point, and that is going to be it. Skyhounds takes the 3rd round, bringing this to a 3-0 victory for them.
Wonderful showing from them. They do secure the victory in this series for themselves. Will, how so fitting to get that play of the game. He couldn't win it for his team, but man, did this guy bring it so close to the Skyhounds so many times. But what a player. But King Rick, that is the name that just did not get said, that should have been said a million times. He got so many important kills in that last fight, stopped multiple Mercy reses, got a huge Transcendence at the very last second to save his own life. That's just fantastic Zenyatta play, and I love fantastic Zenyatta play.
Definitely was very strong. Very exciting series. Even though Skyhounds came out 3-0 on this one, there were so many close moments. Right, ToxicShock could have pulled it off there. So, yeah, very excited about this series. Great way for me to start here, casting the Overwatch Pretenders.
It has been a wonderful start, in my opinion, as well. Has been a good time. Looks like our players are going to be setting up some free-for-all to kind of relax after the match. We're not going to be streaming that for you guys. We're going to respect the players' privacies here. So that's going to be it here today from the Overwatch Pretenders. Thank you for joining us. Make sure to check out the link to our website in the Twitch chat. I guess in the Twitch channel description below. If you want to learn more, get our schedule and our information here. I was Archie Sleek. Follow me on Twitter at Sleek Esports. HX, you got a Twitter?
Absolutely. HXZ9 Twitter. I'll type it in chat for y'all too.
Alright, so with that, that is gonna be it for us. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time on Overwatch Pretenders.
Check this out.